a lot going on with Katt Williams right now? Or is there just a lot of stuff going on around Katt Williams' name? Because Katt Williams really isn't saying or doing anything.
Yeah, he's not saying anything.
He's on hiatus. His tour is supposed to start back up, the next leg of it. He's not saying anything. He's not doing anything. But there's a lot of action around his name. I would have to agree about that. There was this story, there was that story, there was this story, there was that story, and nobody would corroborate where they got the story from. Because they didn't get it from the news. So who did they get it from?
Reggie Carroll, on tour with Katt Williams, allegedly found dead, shot 5 times in front of Katt Williams' home. Allegedly, Katt Williams' cousin was arrested. Wow.
Matter of fact, of all of the whistleblowers that really didn't, that was really getting a lot of heat during this whole Diddy trial and the verdict and all of that, Katt was like the only one that nobody was really saying anything about. Am I wrong? And everyone was so hot for him to be involved. Like, I've never seen people want somebody to be involved in a tragic situation so bad. Nobody's trying to get to the bottom of that. The only thing they're trying to get to the bottom of is how to make Katt Williams responsible for it. What I'm gonna say is, as far as Katt Williams is concerned, the one thing that seems to be the running theme with this tragedy that's happened to Reggie Carroll's life and his family's life is that y'all really not making it about what happened to him. Y'all really are just making it about how to destroy Katt Williams' credibility so nobody has to believe what he has to say, because he's the last of the whistleblowers that y'all haven't really touched up on yet.
You remember that Shannon Sharpe interview, right? When Katt Williams basically said, "Hold my beer," and proceeded to expose half of Hollywood in 3 hours? Well, turns out some very powerful people didn't appreciate that truth-telling session. Now they're coming for him, and they're using a man's death to do it. Comedian Reggie Carroll was hit and eliminated in Mississippi. Genuinely heartbreaking. But within hours, social media was flooded with rumors connecting Katt Williams to the incident. No evidence, no official statements, just pure character destruction designed to take down the one whistleblower they couldn't silence. Jaguar Wright sees exactly what's happening. This isn't about justice for Reggie Carroll. This is about destroying the last truth teller standing. They've tried to discredit every Hollywood whistleblower, but Katt Williams has been their white whale. Until now. Tonight, we're exposing how they're weaponizing tragedy to destroy a comedian's reputation. The Reggie Carroll tragedy should have been front-page news across America. A rising comedian on tour with one of the biggest names in entertainment, hit and eliminated at the peak of his career. That's the kind of story mainstream media typically devours with 24/7 coverage. Instead, we got radio silence from major networks while social media exploded with rumors and speculation. This selective reporting reveals something far more sinister than mere editorial oversight. It exposes a coordinated information blackout designed to control the narrative from the very beginning.
Number one, why wasn't any of this on the news? That was the first thing that come to my mind.
Yeah, this should be big news, real big news.
Why wasn't any of this on the news? And I get it. It happened, Tennessee, Mississippi state line, but even still, national news is all over social media. Why didn't we see more about this on the news? And if it wasn't on the news like that, and nobody was there except for these two gentlemen, allegedly, that's what they're saying. That's what, the authorities are saying. How did all of this information make it to the internet?
Jaguar Wright asked the question that should disturb every thinking person. If only 2 people were present during this incident, how did detailed stories leak to social media before official statements were even released? This isn't organic news dissemination. This is manufactured propaganda being seeded through specific channels. When mainstream media stays silent, while social media floods with inside information, you're witnessing information combat. Someone wanted this story to spread through unverified channels rather than legitimate journalism, ensuring maximum speculation and minimum fact-checking. The The media blackout wasn't about protecting anyone's privacy or maintaining journalistic standards. It was about allowing manufactured rumors to proliferate unchallenged, creating the perfect environment for character destruction disguised as citizen journalism. This strategic silence set the stage for what would become the most coordinated smear campaign against a truth teller since they went after whistleblowers in the aftermath of Diddy's arrest. Every coordinated attack needs a willing executioner, and in this case, that role was filled by comedian Billy Sarles, a man who seemed more interested in destroying Katt Williams' reputation than honoring Reggie Carroll's memory. Within hours of the tragedy, while families were grieving and communities were processing the loss, Billy Sarles was already on social media platforms, positioning himself as the primary voice linking Katt Williams to the incident. His timing wasn't coincidental, it was calculated.
You know, you got this Billy Sarles guy. He seems to be the #1 stepper for going after Katt Williams on this story. Like he didn't waste no time. He went to social media, called the man out, said all kinds of things, and talked about his character, talked about his, his intimate whatever. But it was the way he started it off. You the truth teller, right? You the one that knows everybody's business.
Right.
You could talk about all of this other stuff. Why aren't you talking about Reggie? Well, #1, whatever he had to say in that interview with Shay Shay, it didn't have anything to do with Reggie Carroll, did it? So I'm trying to figure out how one thing has something to do with the other.
Notice how Billy Sarles operated. He conducted interviews where he barely mentioned the victim, but obsessively repeated that Katt and Reggie were close without providing any substantive information about their actual relationship. This wasn't grief talking. This was a systematic campaign designed to plant seeds of suspicion. Legitimate mourning focuses on celebrating the victim's life and seeking justice through proper channels. But Billy Sarles' real agenda became crystal clear when official investigations cleared Katt Williams completely. Rather than accepting law enforcement's findings, he doubled down on his accusations with even more outrageous claims.
Especially this Billy Sarles guy, like he's running around. Katt's gonna do this, and this is gonna happen, and that's gonna happen. It's like he wants to be the oracle of bad news. He's such a Cassandra. He's got it all figured out. And now, Katt has been cleared, or at least that's what the authorities said on the news finally after they did their investigation. Oh, he ain't said nothing. He ain't said nothing. Well, maybe the reason why he didn't say anything is because of all of you. Or maybe his lawyer may have instructed him that it's best for him not to say anything publicly. Now they're saying that the family got paid off. Well, don't believe it. He's really involved. He's really involved. And it's like, it sucks. Because they all keep going back to, oh, well, he said this and he knew that and he said this and now he's quiet and now he like, I don't know. To me, it kind of seems like people want him to be involved.
This persistence reveals his true motivation. He wasn't seeking justice for Reggie Carroll. He was determined to destroy Katt Williams, regardless of evidence or official findings. When someone continues attacking an officially cleared person, they're not seeking justice. They're executing a character destruction contract. Billy Sarles' refusal to accept official clearance exposes him as a willing participant in a coordinated takedown operation.
Hey, Mississippi, this is a dumb.
But
you talk about what somebody not, and I'm not talking about what somebody is. But have you ever seen somebody come forward before the closed and say what somebody is not?
Sure,
I never saw that. So they know for sure it's not this. And I don't know. But I'm just saying, what the a show for TV is this?
The most telling aspect of Billy Sorrell's campaign is what he didn't do. He never demanded better investigation into who actually deleted Reggie Carroll, never called for justice for the victim's family, and never focused on the real perpetrator. His entire energy was devoted to implicating an innocent man, revealing the true nature of his agenda. This pattern of targeted character elimination, using tragedy as a weapon, represents a new low in the systematic destruction of truth-tellers. But as we're about to discover, the lies Billy Sorrells was spreading were built on a foundation that crumbles under the slightest scrutiny. The smear campaign's effectiveness depended entirely on people accepting the basic narrative without questioning the fundamental facts. But what happens when those facts are systematically examined and proven false? What happens when official investigations directly contradict the propaganda machine? The systematic debunking of these lies reveals not just the innocence of the accused, but the calculated nature of his persecution. You've probably seen the rumors flying around social media. Katt Williams' house, his property, happened at his place. The propaganda machine worked overtime to create the impression that this tragedy occurred on Katt's doorstep, making him seem intimately connected to the crime scene. But here's where the narrative completely falls apart under scrutiny.
You know, everybody's talking about, oh, he was a brother, and him and Katt were so close. Were they? Do we really know how close they were? Then people want to make a big deal. It's Katt Williams' house. People said that they seen him at that house. So just because you see somebody at a residence, that instantly means they own it? Maybe fans were watching him go in and out. I don't know. What I do know is that it was owned by a corporation and it was leased to a corporation. And Reggie and Mr. Carroll and Mr. Williams, what's his name, Trinell or something like that?
Yeah, Trinell, Marquise Williams.
Yeah, Mr. Williams were roommates there. Then you want to hear people saying, oh, well, if they was down there working with Katt, why weren't they staying in Katt's house? Katt has always, as far as I can remember, kept certain parts of his life separate. You know, when he had the house in Marina Del Rey in LA, his children didn't live there. The only people that came there were the people that were working, that were writing for the Adult Swim show and writing jokes, working with him on his comedy specials. His children lived in a completely different other house. And he went back and forth.
Right.
People that know him know that he's always lived his life compartmentally. So for people to make a big deal about, well, it was supposed to be Katt's house. Well, it's not Katt's house. It was leased to the LLC. But I don't understand. If he was down there with him, why wasn't he staying in his house? Like, people seem to be making a big deal about a lot of things.
Think about what Jaguar Wright just said. Katt Williams didn't even own the house. The property was leased by a corporation, and Reggie Carroll and the suspect were roommates there. But here's the part that should make you question everything you've heard. Katt Williams has always kept his family and business operations completely separate from his living arrangements. When you realize that Katt Williams maintained separate residences for different aspects of his life, the entire "it happened at his house" narrative crumbles. This wasn't negligence or coincidence. This was a deliberate lifestyle choice that actually proves his distance from the incident, not his involvement. But the propaganda didn't just get the basic facts wrong. It actively manipulated how the victim himself was being portrayed to serve a different agenda entirely.
It makes you wonder, if people want people to see him as a victim in all of this, why are they spending so much time painting him out to be somebody who's really emotional, who gets out of themselves quite easily and needs to be, like even Corey, when Corey was before he even got into everything that happened, for what he knew, because the thing is there were a lot of people that were saying a lot about this case.
Notice something disturbing here? They're supposedly honoring Reggie Carroll as a victim, yet every story emphasizes his emotional volatility and tendency toward violence. Ask yourself, if you were genuinely mourning someone's death, Would you spend most of your time discussing their worst characteristics? The propaganda machine wasn't just trying to implicate Katt Williams. They were simultaneously painting Reggie Carroll as unstable and violent, creating a narrative where his death seemed almost inevitable. This dual character destruction served to minimize sympathy for the real victim while maximizing suspicion toward the innocent. You want to know what real vindication looks like? It comes from the one source that actually matters in criminal cases: law enforcement conducting a proper investigation.
I'll share with you what I think I can. Basically, like I said, there's a call for service related to a shooting incident on Burton Lane here in South Haven. It was last Wednesday, round about 6:30, that kind of time frame anyways. Police arrived on scene very quickly. When they got there, there were two people. You had Traynell Williams and Reggie Carroll. So we have our shooter and our victim. They were both there. The police immediately kind of quartered them off to where they could make room to give aid or make life-saving attempts for Mr. Carroll. Quite frankly, at that point, he had already received multiple wounds. But as a matter of course, the police did every reasonable effort to try to help. Mr. Carroll was transported to the hospital where they could continue to try to help. At some point in the process, Mr. Carroll succumbed to those injuries. While that was going on, the investigation began. They did everything that you would ordinarily expect in an investigation, to take pictures, gather evidence, talk to people that may have knowledge of anything related to this, and ultimately they developed Traynell Williams as a suspect. They believed through their diligent and thorough efforts that probable cause existed for an arrest warrant. An arrest warrant was signed by a judge, and Mr. Williams was taken into custody the same night. I do want to dispel a few, rumors that may be going around. This was an incident between two roommates that knew each other.
There it is, straight from the district attorney. Katt Williams was cleared after a thorough investigation, not insufficient evidence, not case dismissed on technicalities. Completely cleared. The official investigation found no connection between Katt Williams and the crime. When the DA's office makes a public statement clearing someone, they're putting their professional reputation on the line. This isn't celebrity favoritism. This is law enforcement stating unequivocally that the accused had nothing to do with the crime. But here's where the conspiracy reveals its true nature. Even official vindication couldn't stop the character destruction campaign. You might think that official clearance would end the matter, but you'd be wrong, because this was never about justice for Reggie Carroll or truth about the crime. This was about weaponizing a tragedy to destroy the one whistleblower they haven't been able to silence. The timing of this coordinated attack reveals everything about its true purpose. You need to understand the broader context of what's been happening to truth tellers since Diddy's arrest.
Huge right now is that people are going after whistleblowers. Heavy right now. Matter of fact, ever since the Diddy verdict came in and Diddy hasn't gotten out of jail, social media has become quite insufferable for anybody that's a whistleblower. People are going out of their way to pick fights. People are going out of their way to create little troll legions, to go inside people's chats, go to people's websites, do this, do that. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. And up until now, Katt has pretty much been exempt from all of that. Matter of fact, of all of the whistleblowers that really didn't, that was really getting a lot of heat during this whole Diddy trial and the verdict and all of that, Katt was like the only one that nobody was really saying anything about. Am I wrong?
Oh.
Matter of fact, I asked somebody that a few weeks back. The way you come at me, the way you come at this person and that person, y'all ain't saying nothing about Katt. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. And then I heard, oh man, look at Katt, and everyone was so hot for him to be involved. Like, I've never seen people want somebody to be involved in a tragic situation so bad. Meanwhile, not saying that Reggie Carroll wasn't popular, not saying that he wasn't building up his repertoire, but he definitely didn't have the kind of national awareness that Katt Williams does, and now he does.
Listen, the moment Diddy was arrested and couldn't get bail, social media became a battlefield against every whistleblower who had exposed industry secrets. But Katt Williams was mysteriously exempt from this mistreatment until the Reggie Carroll tragedy provided the perfect opportunity. When someone is systematically excluded from attacks, until a convenient tragedy occurs, you're not witnessing organic public outrage. You're seeing a calculated strategy waiting for the right moment to strike. The timing exposes the premeditation, but the systematic nature of this attack goes even deeper than opportunistic timing. Someone orchestrated putting Katt Williams' name into this story when there was zero evidence connecting him to the crime.
But to be able to have Katt Williams' name out there and attached to somebody being unalived at a property that's associated with him, whether closely or loosely in any way, it's now the story is he paid off all the officials and he paid everybody off, and I mean, that's an interesting take on it. But when I look at his pedigree, he's been arrested like 20 some odd times by the authorities for crimes that he could never be convicted of.
Right.
I don't see somebody who's been abused by the law as much as he's been abused by the law, all of a sudden now being buddy enough with the law to pay everybody off for a crime that allegedly he wasn't even around for. Like, that's the thing. Can anybody put him at the scene of anything? Can anybody put his DNA on anything? You honestly think he don't got surveillance cameras on any of those properties, whether he's living there or not? Ain't that odd?
Think about it. Forces deliberately inserted Katt Williams' name into the narrative without any evidence, purely to dirty his reputation. And here's the kicker. He wasn't even present when the crime was committed. In an era where surveillance cameras are everywhere, where's the footage that could instantly clear or implicate anyone? The absence of surveillance footage discussion reveals the manufactured nature of this controversy. If they really believe Katt Williams was involved, wouldn't demanding camera evidence be the first step? The fact that no one pushed for this obvious proof shows they knew it would exonerate him. The systematic nature of this persecution becomes crystal clear when you examine what they're actually trying to accomplish versus what they claim to care about.
Nobody's trying to get to the bottom of that. The only thing they're trying to get to the bottom of is how to make Katt Williams responsible for it. Like, this is even more elusive than the Tory Lanez case. And Tory Lanez was there when that powwowing happened, but his DNA was nowhere near the firearm.
Yep.
But he at least was there. There's no evidence where Katt Williams was, and what makes him guilty is the fact that he hasn't said anything. That's what makes him guilty. Right? Because that's pretty much what everybody's saying. Because he said nothing, because he hasn't come forward, because he hasn't made a statement, because he hasn't done this publicly or done that publicly, he's guilty. And the only reason the authorities came forward to clear him from the situation is because he paid it. How many people did Diddy pay off? I don't see y'all tripping about none of that. Like the booming of Kid Cudi's car. Part of the reason why that couldn't have been taken into consideration for the RICO charge and all of the rest of the stuff that he was able to slither out of is because it's actually been put on record that Diddy paid to have the evidence disappear.
Right.
This didn't make it in against them because it went against the statute of limitations. Like all of the people that Katt Williams spoke against on Shay Shay have actually done those things. They've actually paid authorities to get rid of evidence, to corrupt evidence, to hold evidence until things made it past the statute of limitation. Like these people actually have done all of these things. I don't see y'all tripping. I don't see them tripping. Yeah, he made it. He got off. Yeah, he beat the RICO. Let me tell you something. With as much stuff as they kept redacted and out of those court records, I find it funny that people think that just because evidence didn't get presented, then that means that you're not guilty of it.
Here's the devastating truth that should outrage you. Nobody is trying to get justice for Reggie Carroll. Nobody is demanding better investigation into who actually deleted him. The entire focus is on making Katt Williams responsible for something he didn't do. And when official investigations clear him, they claim he paid off authorities. The same authorities who have arrested him over 20 times without ever being able to convict him. When you accuse someone of paying off the same law enforcement system that has repeatedly arrested and harassed them, you're not making a logical argument. You're revealing the desperation of a failing narrative. If Katt Williams could pay off police, why would he have been arrested so many times? But the most insidious aspect of this systematic attack is how it exploits tragedy to achieve a completely different objective.
But the passing of Reggie Carroll was some kind of great conspiracy plot to set up Katt Williams so that they could, devalue him as a whistleblower or whatever the case may be. Whoop-de-whoop-de. Well, I'm not saying that at all. And I don't want to hear anybody even trying to remotely put those words in my mouth. What I'm saying is the one thing that I know for sure is that they will take any opportunity that they have to trash and disgrace and destroy anyone who was brave enough to tell the truth, even this man's passing. Because the truth is, they should just be talking about him.
You need to understand what Jaguar Wright is exposing here. They're using Reggie Carroll's death as a weapon against Katt Williams, while simultaneously disrespecting Carroll and his family. This isn't grief, this is exploitation of tragedy for character destruction purposes. The systematic attack on Katt Williams represents something far more dangerous than celebrity gossip. It's a blueprint for how the entertainment industry destroys anyone who threatens to expose their darkest secrets. They wait for tragedy, then weaponize it to eliminate threats while appearing to seek justice. But why Katt Williams? Why now? Why such desperate measures to destroy someone who was officially cleared of any wrongdoing? The answer connects directly back to where this all started, with a comedian who had the audacity to sit down with Shannon Sharpe and expose truths that some very powerful people wanted buried forever. But here's what should terrify every person who values truth. If they can successfully destroy Katt Williams using these methods, they've perfected a formula for silencing anyone who threatens their operations. And Jaguar Wright reveals exactly why Katt Williams has become their primary target.
As far as Katt Williams is concerned, the one thing that seems to be the running theme with this tragedy that's happened to Reggie Carroll's life and his family's life is that y'all really not making it about what happened to him. Y'all really are just making it about how to destroy Katt Williams' credibility so nobody has to believe what he has to say, because he's the last of the whistleblowers that y'all haven't really touched up on yet.
There it is, the devastating truth that explains everything you've witnessed tonight. Katt Williams is the last of the whistleblowers they haven't touched yet. He's the final major truth teller standing, who hasn't been discredited, destroyed, or eliminated through their systematic campaigns. Think about what this means. Gene Deal, Jaguar Wright, and other whistleblowers have all faced coordinated attacks. But Katt Williams has somehow remained untouchable until now. The Reggie Carroll tragedy provided the perfect opportunity to finally destroy the one person they couldn't silence through conventional means. Remember what he said during that explosive Shannon Sharpe interview? Listen.
And it all leads right back to what Katt Williams had to say. The biggest job that someone has in the Shluminati is to pretend like there is no Shluminati. That's what everybody's doing right now. But for anybody to try to take him and tie this to him when the authorities aren't, and then they got to come up with all kinds of conspiracy theories and speculation to get people to believe that Katt Williams is responsible for this man's death in some way, when y'all have all of the evidence in the world of exactly how monstrous Diddy and all of his friends are, and everyone that he's worked with, and all of you that are attached to this corrupt system. But y'all don't want to believe that even when the evidence is in your face. Isn't that funny? You could take the evidence and you could shove it in their face. Like you shove a dog's face in piss to let them know don't do that there no more. And they'll pretend like they don't see nothing. But they love weaving and crafting and coming up with all of these stories so that they can punish the people who ruin their little wet dreams about, the industry or whatever.
The Reggie Carroll tragedy wasn't chosen randomly as a weapon against Katt Williams. It was the perfect storm, a real death, a confused narrative, and an opportunity to paint the industry's most dangerous truth teller as someone capable of violence. They waited for the right tragedy to finally destroy the last untouched whistleblower. You need to understand the full scope of what's happening here. This isn't just about protecting individual celebrities or covering up specific crimes. This is about maintaining a system where people continue to believe that the entertainment industry is just glamorous fun, instead of recognizing it as the organized exploitation operation that whistleblowers like Katt Williams, Jaguar Wright, and Gene Deal have been trying to expose. The entertainment industry's message is clear: speak out against us, and we'll use any tragedy, any circumstance, any weapon available to destroy you while maintaining our innocence. Katt Williams may have been officially cleared of this crime, but the real crime, the systematic silencing of truth tellers, continues unchallenged. The ultimate choice is ours: believe their carefully constructed lies and maintain the comfortable fantasy, or recognize the systematic operation that Katt Williams risked everything to expose. Because, as Jaguar Wright warns us, once they finish destroying the last untouched whistleblower, there won't be anyone left brave enough to tell us the truth about what's really happening behind the glitter and gold of the entertainment industry. The reckoning Katt Williams predicted is here. The question is, are we brave enough to face it? If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.